Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Christopher Perez. For those of you who know me, those of you who don't, welcome. So I've been wanting to do these videos for quite a while, and recently I've been getting a lot of questions of people asking me how I handle my direct mail. Well, good news for you guys. I'm gonna jump in and show you guys from start to finish exactly how I do it. I'm gonna be making this into 4 separate videos. This video is gonna be more of an introduction, just me going over talking points. Is just going to be a webcam style, and the other videos are actually going to be me coming in and breaking it down. But getting right into it, I want to talk to you guys on not why you should listen to me, but why I have something to say about direct mail. So a little bit about me. If you guys know me, I own House Hunters US. It is a real estate investment company here in OKC. I've been doing direct mail now for about a year and a half by myself. I've originally done direct mail when I first started, but it was outsourced with a third-party company, and they did well, but it was nothing ever great. I used them for about a year, and then we decided not to use them anymore because we weren't getting the results we wanted. We were honestly, I think, just breaking even every month, and at the time we were spending like 10,000. So that would have been about like 3 years ago. So last year, I actually decided to make a big change and go into inbound marketing only, and direct mail was the one I decided to get into. So a little bit about me, guys. So like I said, I've been doing direct mail for about a year and a half. So the numbers I'm about to give you guys are year to date, so it's only for 2024. So please follow along as you can. So for this year's, guys, I have made 411,000. So I've made $411,000 this year alone just from direct mail. But that is what we've had in closing. If I bring up some other files, we currently still have about 160,000 set to close here in the next about 30 to 45 days, hopefully. So year to date, I'd like to say we're going to be sitting around 500 or so in gross revenue, and we have spent so far $121,000 on our direct mail. So for those of you guys who are interested, that is about a 238% on ROI. Pretty good, right? So that's why I want to jump in, kind of give you guys what I know, what I've done to make direct mail successful, what has not worked for me, what has, and how you guys can hopefully get into it yourself too. So with that being said, guys, I have sent out for this year around 185,000 postcards year to date. We are typically sending around 20 to 30,000 postcards a month. So you guys can kind of average that out by the last 8 months, right? We're in September 6th right now, so you can do the numbers. But aside from that, guys, I want to kind of go in and just show you guys what I do, so hopefully you guys can replicate, because I know I've had a lot of people asking me about it. So like I told you guys before, year to date, we are at 411,000 that have successfully closed, with about another 160, give or minus. I think it's actually a little bit more. Currently setting in escrow, set to close in the next 30 to 45 days. So around 500,000. If you do the numbers, it's actually a lot higher ROI, but I'm only doing it based off what has closed. So a couple things I want to jump into right away, guys, is I want to talk about who I use for data and why it's extremely important who you're deciding to use for data. So I know personally, guys, I have used, you name it. I've used Investor Machine, Audantic, Dataflick, BatchLeads, PropStreams, PropWire. I've used local county data. And the biggest difference, guys, is not that either one of these data providers has like a special list that somebody else does it. Really, it's the higher tier data providers organize it in a way for you that it's much easier to intake. So for example, if you decide to go pull data from, let's say, PropStreams, you're building that list, right? And what I mean by that is you're going to go in and you're going to figure out, do I want a high equity? Do I want 20 plus years owned? Do I want vacant? Do I want pre-foreclosures? Whatever. And you're just going to pull it in a random city. The biggest difference between what I like to call premium data providers such as Dataflick, Audantic, Investor Machines, I know there's a bunch more out there, but those are the 3 I've used, is they go ahead and they build that list for me based off my buy box. And the reason I rely on them, guys, is, look, I'm going to be honest, they're using computer learning to predict who's more likely to sell to an investor. I can't do that. I can go pull a high equity list, but I still don't know on that list who's going to be good or not. So what these data providers do is that they will actually rank your data from, everybody has different scales. DataFlick, my most recent one that I use, ranks it from 30 to 100. 100 being your most motivated, 30 being your least motivated. So pretty easy when it comes to data organization, right? If I'm sitting here and I want to say, who do I want to mail? Well, I only want to mail my most motivated people. So for me on the DataFlick list, that is the people that have a motivation higher of 50 plus. That is why I use it, guys, because they're the ones that go ahead and tell me, this list is more likely to be motivated than this one because of X, Y, and Z's. They have, I think they told me they have over like 1,500. Excuse me, they have over 1,500 data points in their data set. So when they're recording it, and on the Excel sheets that you guys get, you'll see it in my second video or on the third one. I think it's on the second one. You'll see how I actually use those to my advantages to break them down into different lists and categorize each data in its own list. A little bit more on that on those second videos, but that's what I use for data, guys. So I have used Audantic, Investor Machine, DataFlick, all great data providers that I've used. Just know they are a premium and they can get pretty expensive, but I think it's personally well worth it. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these guys. I'm just telling you what I've used and what works. So, take it with your own 2 cents. My other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is going to be your guys' buy box, right? Why it's so important to know your buy box. And I see this mistake far too often that people get into our industry and they want to just go pull a big list out of, let's just say, Oklahoma County. So they're going to go and they're going to send Oklahoma County. Well, that's great, but let's be honest, not every city in Oklahoma County is a city that an investor is buying in. So this kind of leads me into my next question too, where you have to have market knowledge to know what areas you want to target. And reason being is, I'm going to just give you an example. If I'm trying to sell, well, how about this? About 80% of my deals are sold in Oklahoma City. Okay. Where do you think I should market 80% of my budget? Probably Oklahoma City, since Oklahoma City makes me the most money. Now, does that mean that I'm going to go outside of Oklahoma City to these small rural cities? Probably not, guys, because even if I do go and I get a deal out there, the likelihood of me selling it and finding an investor for it is very unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just I can do the same exact things in Oklahoma City, make more money, and be much easier. So that is why buy box are important. One of the plus sides, going back to like DataFlick, and why I like them so much is they actually give you that market knowledge, guys. So they have a dashboard online where they actually rank you the zip codes. And so they do it 2 ways. They rank by zip codes and they rank by neighborhoods. And what they're doing is that they're actually telling you what zip codes has the most investor transactions and which ones don't. Same thing. So there's a lot more neighborhoods than there is zip codes. So if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you can go and filter out by neighborhoods. And DataFlick actually gives you that information up front. So that's why I say sometimes it is really worth paying these premium data providers because they give you more than just data, right? If you know how to use all the information they give you, they do pretty well. So when they give me my list, they actually give me lists based off motivation and locations, right? If they're giving me someone on my direct mail list, they're not giving me someone that has no investor transactions. Not saying it's not worth trying to reach out to them at some point or another. It's just not worth it to me right now. And a lot more into that in my last video, guys, outro, when I'm talking to you guys about my mistakes that I have learned, what I have done. I've tried scaling up and sending a lot more mailers, and it didn't necessarily mean more revenue. And again, we'll get more into that later. But buy box, guys, super, super important, right? You want to know where you're marketing, who you're marketing to, and ultimately you want to know a deal that you lock up, you can actually sell. So the other thing I want to get into, guys, is how much mailers I'm sending right now a month and how frequent. So currently, as we sit, we're sending anywhere from 20 to 30,000 mailers, give or take. The last 2 months, I think we sent like 20. One was like 25. You're actually going to see me do my direct mail list on this video, and I think it actually has 29,000 people. So you're going to be able to see how I break it down. But I'm typically mailing people around every 3 to 4 weeks. It really just depends on me on when I get new data and when I'm sending the mailers. So DataFlick actually gives me data every month. So if it just so happens to line up that as soon as I get data, it's been 3 weeks, cool. If I might have had to wait 4 weeks, well, I'm going to wait 4 weeks to mail it just because I don't want to mail old data that I got last. So it just really depends on how or when I receive the data. The other things that I want to be talking to you guys about is what kind of mailers I use and who I use as my mail house. But before I get into that, I did miss one thing, guys. I know everybody's going to ask me how much I spend per mailer. So on average right now, and it really just varies on how many mailers you're sending, but because I send the volume that I do, I actually pay around 48 cents per mailer. So I've spent anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000 a month on just paper first, guys. That is it. I'm not nothing else. That's just on paper, direct mail. The people I'm currently using right now is goevergreen.com. Really great people out there. They've taken care of me really well. They helped me design a whole bunch of new postcards. They're always there when I need them, and they've been one of the more cheaper options that I have personally found. Now, somebody else that I've used really great in the past as well, and I got good results with, was REI Print Mail. Now, I absolutely loved REI Print Mail because they actually coach you one-on-one. So one of their things that they give you is before you send mailers, you can actually set up meetings with one of their coaches, and they're going to coach you through what list you have or what list to pull, what mailers to use, and you can at least know that you're getting industry related knowledge from someone who's actually they mail a lot a month. I don't know their exact numbers, but they're a pretty big company. The biggest downside to it, guys, is that they're a lot more expensive. It's just being completely honest, but you pay what you get for, right? When I first started, I most absolutely was using REI Print Mail, and that was because I didn't really know what I was doing. So I wanted someone to teach me the basics of it. After a couple months, once I kind of figured out the ins and outs of it, well, that's when I decided to take it on my own and go with Go Evergreen because they were cheaper. Go Evergreen, unfortunately, well, they don't have as much knowledge as like REI Print Mail does. So kind of up to you guys. If you guys are brand new and you want someone to hold your hand, I say REI Print Mail. If you have a pretty good understanding of what you want to do and you want to try it on your own, goevergreen.com. Both really great companies, guys. I think they'll both take really great care of you, but those are the people I've used. Now, I've used plenty of mailers in the past, guys. I've used mails, I've used check letters, I've used soft offers. I was actually just doing my return mail yesterday to prepare for this new drop that I'm about to send out, and I decided to keep the couple different ones that I have to show you guys an example of which ones I have used. So I currently have 5 in my hand. First one I want to show you guys that absolutely crushes for me and has done really well, and this one's from Go Evergreen, guys, is our Red Urgent Notice postcard. That's this one. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. But I'm going to give you guys the secret on why this one has crushed so much for us. And it's this right here. It's our soft offer, guys. So when you go to their website, they actually don't have this as a soft offer. I asked if they could implement that, and they did. Now this one has a soft offer. This is my go-to, guys. Whenever I'm sending a brand new list that I've never mailed before, this is my first postcard that I always send. It's my first one. And the reason I start off with sending postcards versus letters is because you get return mail on postcards. So that leads into many other things that I can talk about that, but that'll be more into our third and second video. Data management, right? You want to constantly be cleaning your mailers. So each time I mail, guys, I'm receiving mailers back every single month. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It is a pain in the ass because you have to go in and manually update them one by one to remove them from your mailing list. The last thing you guys want to do is throw money away on postcards that aren't deliverable and trying to deliver to them. So clean them out. So that's why postcards are important. So this is my first one that I use. Like I said, around with it. So I currently send 85% of estimated value. And estimated value, guys, DataFlick provides me a number that they think the property's worth. So in an Excel sheet, I just do a percentage, and that's the soft offer they're going to receive. A couple other ones that we have used is going to be just like this it just looks like a handwritten doodle card. Here's the front side to it. I usually send something like this as my second postcard. This would be like another kind of variation to it, just a handwritten card. Then I'd like to go back. I'd like to present another soft offer on like my third touch. But this one's a little bit different, guys, because this has price ranges right here. So instead of having a direct soft offer, it's more of a price range. And what I do there is I just make two columns, one of 75%, one of 85%. So now you have two different numbers. The other things that you guys are going to want to get into is this is the last one. This one came from REI Print Mail. Used to do really well for us, was crushing it for a while until it wasn't. And then this one just kind of took over. And I really like this one. I'm not sure. I like the color red. Maybe it stands out. But those are the postcards I use, guys. And a couple things I want to get into is what kind of response rates you can expect from postcards. Now, every single one uses different or gets different response rates. That's why it's also super important to learn. You need to test. This is constantly a trial and error. You want to test which ones perform well and which ones don't. So you can keep sending the ones that work really well and stop using the ones that don't work well. I'm going to show you guys an example of one that absolutely bombed and was terrible. I thought it was going to do great. It didn't work at all. I didn't get a single call off of this one. I did a very custom postcard trying to target like senior homeowners. Didn't do well at all, guys. I sent 5,000 of them and I got 0 calls out of it. Though I thought it looked nice, it was fancy, didn't work. But you can only know that when you track it. So I can tell you guys right now, my average response rate is about 0.04%. It's not a lot, guys. Not a lot of numbers. So if I get around 30 to 50 leads a month, or I should say when I send about 20 to 25,000, I can expect to get around 30 to 50 leads a month from each drop. So not a big number, but you should be able to get pretty decent contracts out of that. A couple other things I want to get into, you guys, before I keep going down is more metrics. So like I told you guys, my average response rate is a 0.004. Now, each postcard does a little bit different, but for the sake of video, I'm just going to give you guys just an average. I want to keep it easy. The averages I'm taking, guys, is that we've currently sent 185,000 postcards this year, and I just divided that by my leads. That's our response rate. The other thing that I want to get into, you guys, is how many mailers it takes for me to get a contract. So currently, as it sits right now, guys, it's taking us about 3,554 mailers per I believe we've currently have around 52 signed contracts this year just from direct mail. So again, pretty easy, right? You can just take 185,000 divide by 52 and you know how many postcards it takes to get per contract. A very important number, guys, because I love to tell everybody, if you guys want to do direct mail, it's a volume game. If you expect to send 100 postcards a month, don't expect to get results. Even if you're sending 1,000, don't expect to get results. When I first started this a year and a half ago, guys, I started small. I think I started sending 5,000 a month per postcard, and I slowly scaled my way up to where I am now. But I say this, guys, because if I were to tell anybody to get into, I'm gonna just give you my average and say try to send minimum 4,000 postcards a month. So that way, based off my data, you can almost guarantee that you should get a deal within your first drop. Now, the caveat to that, guys, is direct mail is one of those channels that it's not quick money. And I can't guarantee you, nor will anyone guarantee that you're going to make money off a drop. That's the scary part about direct mail, is that you have to be okay knowing that I might spend $5,000 and not make anything on direct mail this month. Or you might get lucky, you might get a contract, but you're probably not going to see that money for another 30 days, right? Say your mailer drops and you end up getting a contract 3 weeks later. Well, now you're not going to be receiving money till 30 days later. So the important thing about direct mail is knowing that you have to have a set budget, guys. At least set aside. Again, you decide how much money you want to put, but make sure you're able to at least mail for 2 to 3 months. If you're not getting any contracts within the first 2 to 3 months, you're doing something wrong. I can, almost certainly say you should be able to make money within the first 2 to 3 drops of sending direct mail. Hopefully, like I said, you get a contract the first month, you make some revenue the second month, and then you can just rinse and repeat, right? Okay, you made some money, or you made your money back, and then you have some more, you do it again, and now you're running a profitable marketing channel. So that was one of it, guys. Another KPI that I want to get into, you guys, it takes us about 14 leads per contract right now. Again, this is just a big average that I'm taking out for the year, but we're currently sitting at 14 leads per contract. Now, I do have one more metric that I want to share with you guys, and this one's extremely important. I call it my net lead, guys. And what a net lead is to me, it is someone that actually, well, in simplest terms, when I'm trying to talk about in direct mail, I'm going to be honest, when somebody calls us from one of my mailers, you're going to get either 1 or 2 responses. Response 1 is going to be, remove me off your list. And response 2 is going to be people that actually want to sell. Quick little insight, about 50% of the calls that you get are going to be people asking you to take off your mail. That's okay. That's normal, guys. Trust me. Don't get all crazy if you do direct mail and you get a lot of those. It's normal, right? I've had them go up to like 60% of we're taking me off your list. I think the highest I've ever had was like 70%, but it's normal, guys. But I like to say average is around 50%. So the reason I say that, guys, is because yes, it might take us 14 leads to get per contracts, but just remember that more than half those people that we talk to say remove me off your list. So when I say net leads, you can think about people who wanted to sell. So when someone tells us, yes, I want to sell, it takes us 6 of those to get 1 contract. Not too shabby, if you ask me. Okay, cool. So the next things I kind of want to get into, guys, is the importance of tracking each mailer. So the only way you guys are ever going to get as much data, and I'm a very analytical person, so I apologize if this video is completely long. I was hoping to make it short, but it's already 23 minutes, and I still have a lot more to talk to. I'll try to condense it as much as I can and give more information, but if you guys are sitting through and have gotten to this point, thank you, guys. I appreciate you for giving me your attention. I'm hoping I can provide something back to you guys because, like I said, always have a lot of people asking me how I do it. I'm not a coach, not a mentor. I don't have courses. I just want to share with you guys what works for me, and maybe you can get some value out of it. Extremely important, guys, tracking each postcard. And it's not so much that you're tracking each postcard, but you're tracking your data, your postcard, and how they perform. How you do that is real simple, guys. Each postcard you send has a different number. So you can tell this postcard right here ends with the number 9741. This one over here ends with the number 7496. So this one's also 7496. It was another drop that we were tracking. This one over here, 7949. This is another 7949. And this one over here is 8216. So the reason I do that, guys, is so I can track exactly how well a specific postcard is doing. And I also want to tell how well a specific data set is doing. So how I do that is I'm going to go take a proven postcard that I know works really well. So let's say, for example, it's my red urgent notice, one with the soft offer on it. I know this one does well. Postcard works. So now that I know I have a winning postcard that gets me good response rate, now I can go test different data sets to see how well the data is, right? If I go send out 10,000 of these postcards and I get zero leads using this data, I can probably tell you that it's not my postcard because it has worked really well in the past. It's probably the data set that I'm using, right? At the beginning, it's going to be hard, guys, because you're testing both. You're testing data set and you're testing postcards. But this is why I say I would definitely recommend REI print mail, because you can take the guesswork out of what postcard works because they're there to tell you which ones work well. And that's what I did when I first started, guys. I went to REI print mail. I told them, it's like, hey, I currently have Audantic data. I know my data is good. What postcards do you guys recommend? And Corey over there was like, dude, use this one. Absolutely crushing. It absolutely did, guys. It crushed, did really well for me. So I didn't have to worry about trying to test 100 different ones before I found a winning one. You just ask the experts. Same thing. If you were to ask me, I'd tell you to go send this one, right? Or really, the reason I think these work so well, guys, as well as this yellow one, is because of the soft offer. I think soft offers is the way to go because that's what's going to get the attention grabber, right? I can't tell you how many homeowners we have called. Hey, the reason we called you was because you actually made an offer. You actually have a number. It gets people's interest. And yeah, I mean, that's it. There's no and. But yes, soft offer direct mails, I like them. And you can try them with any design, right? As long as you're just throwing a number on it, you should be pretty good to go. The other things I want to talk into, guys, is what softwares I use to manage. It's going to be overwhelming at first because there's a lot that you're trying to do. But the reason I think I've been successful with it is because I know how to manage from start to finish. One of the most important things and one of the huge mistakes I made in the very beginning with just data in general is that I never managed data, guys. I used to get Excel sheets and that was it. I would take that Excel sheet, I would upload it into whatever dialer, and I never touched that sheet again. So I never knew, was it a good sheet? Was it recently sold? Or the numbers there bad? Or the mailing address is bad? I didn't know. I would just reuse the same sheet over and over without ever cleaning the data. So what I actually have been using for the last about 2 years now, this platform is a CRM, guys, but I use it strictly for data management. And that software is REISift. REISift. Amazing platform, guys, because it fits for what I need, which is data management. And the reason that software is so powerful and why I would recommend anybody to sign up for it if you're doing any type of mail or any type of marketing with data, I'd recommend to use it because it allows you to manage the data extremely well. And what I do with it is that's where I house all my data in one central location, and I can go in there and update it. So when I tell you guys that I get these mailers sent back to me, guess what I'm doing? I am going to my software and I am removing them one by one, going to this lead and saying, do not mail, so I don't mail them again, right? That's cleaning the data. Further cleaning the data is I also take the same list and I'll go upload it into, let's just say I like BatchLeads. I use BatchLeads for this. And I use them to remove all the recently sold. So I'll upload my data in BatchLeads. BatchLeads will tell me, it's like, hey, 1,100 of the properties have been sold. I take those 1,100, I go re-upload it back into REISift and I remove the recently sold. Again, data cleaning, right, guys? So with any type of marketing, your whole idea is always to clean, 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 clean. You're always cleaning data. Whatever you're doing, if you're calling, texting, mailing, you're cleaning data in one way or another. And if you're not doing marketing right. But that's why I use REISift. Again, we'll get into those videos in a lot more detail in depth when I actually show you how I'm doing it. And hopefully you get a better understanding out of it. So again, softwares I use REISift and BatchLeads. The last things the last thing I have to tell you guys is the importance of who these calls go to. I made the mistake when I first started. I used to send them to my VAs that were my lead managers overseas. Truth be told, they're good people, but they're not my greatest salespeople. So I was actually told this by Corey at REI Print Mail. He's like, man, you should be having your closers take those automatically. And he is absolutely right. That should be the first thing you should do. When you are paying the amount of money that you are for mailers, you don't want to chance them on a lead manager or a cold caller or someone overseas to take them. You want to put your best people on the phone for the first impression. I know you guys have always heard this, right? First impression's everything. Make sure the first impression's good. So yes, all my calls go directly to my closers, my acquisition managers. And the way I have it, guys, it's on I call it a free-for-all, but I have all my callers' phones and their CRM set up to when someone calls any of these numbers, everybody gets called at the same time. And the reason I do that is because I never want to miss any calls. Like, I don't want to have a round robin where it's like, hey, he's going to call person A first and then person B and then person C and so on and so on. No, I want it to be whoever gets it first gets it because I don't want to miss these leads. I want you guys to think about every single time that you guys miss a call from these postcards, That's a lot of money that you're missing, right? You are literally throwing money away in the trash. So you want to ensure that they get answered right away. So that's why I have them ring everybody's phone at the same time, and then it's just who gets to it first. I think it keeps it pretty fair as well, because it's not like anybody's favoring, well, I didn't get this. It's, well, if you're not available, that's not my fault, right? If someone is picking it up before you, it's probably because they're at their computer making calls and it's super easy, or they're able to get the phone right away. So that's what I do. That's about it, guys, for this first intro video. I know it was a lot of information, a lot of things to talk about. I felt like I had 100 more things to say. I don't want to take it too much longer, but I think I've given pretty good detail on what we do, how we manage direct mail. If there's anything that I didn't answer or that you guys have questions, please feel free to leave me a comment below. I'll be happy to try to answer, give more specifics. And if I don't answer it here, like I said, I am going to make 3 more of these videos, guys. So please go watch the other ones. I might answer your questions there. But with that being said, I appreciate you tuning in, sticking by my 33-minute video. I hope to make more content. If this is helpful for you guys, please do let me know. I can do a lot more of these videos and just everything else that I do in my business, cold calling, texting, data management, right? Sales process. I just want to start with direct mail because I need to do it right now anyways. And I've been getting a lot of requests for it. So I hope this was a help. I hope to see you in the next video, and you guys take care. Peace.